Hello everybody, welcome to my broadcast, all the replay viewers. My name is Mike. I'm in Los Angeles now at the former site of the Ambassador Hotel here in Los Angeles. We're in 1968. Presidential candidate, he was presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy was killed. So I'm going to share with you some history about this site, tell you where I am. You learn a little bit about Koreatown because now it's known as K-Town, Koreatown. So it's an interesting place. It's called Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park right now. So it's Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park. So hello out there, how are you? So there's a lot of history that happened here when Robert F. Kennedy, running for the Democratic Party for president, was shot and killed on this site by Sirhan Sirhan. So I'll give you a little bit of history. The Ambassador Hotel used to be here. It was opened in 1921. This is not the Ambassador Hotel. This is actually, I'm not talking about Mooch right now. I'm talking about this subject. And that is the site of the Ambassador Hotel, which was demolished in 2005, 2006. And now this is a school owned by the Los Angeles Unified School District. So what happened here in 1968? Well, let me give you a little bit of history of the Ambassador. The Ambassador Hotel, which stood on this site right here, was renowned for a lot of celebrities. No, I'm talking about RFK, not JFK. I'm talking about RFK, the brother. RFK. So Robert, not John. And Robert basically came here, as did a lot of politicians. At least 7 presidents stayed at the Ambassador. Lots of celebrities were here. Loads and loads of celebrities. Yes, it was demolished, and it was very controversial what happened here. So imagine the Ambassador Hotel has been here since 1921, and it was it's on Wilshire Boulevard. This is Wilshire Boulevard right here. And it was in the middle of basically the heyday of Hollywood, where you had a lot of celebrities coming to the Ambassador. Frank Sinatra, you name it. I mean, there were movies filmed here over a period of time. And then in 1968, RFK came here, and in the pantry, in the kitchen, Sirhan Sirhan shot and killed him. He didn't die right away. He lingered for about a day, died the day after. But this is the site. In 1989, the Ambassador sort of shut down to guests in 1989, and it just kind of went into disrepair, languished, and so on. But in 2005, 2006, it was demolished, and this is what was replaced. This is what took its place. Let's go down. Let me show you some of the. We have these quotes here from RFK, for example, and then I'll show you his image on the wall behind me right here. But this is the park. It's known as Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park. The Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park. And of course, I see signs of homeless people sleeping in the park here. There's toilet paper right there. But you've got these sayings on the wall, all these scriptures, this stuff, quotes, I should say, on the wall. Hey Gary, how are you? So, so he was running for office, and in 1968 he was shot somewhere close to midnight by Sirhan Sirhan. Very tumultuous time in U.S. history. I'm good. How are you? And I don't know if you can pick up his image here, but that's the image of RFK on that wall. Carol Day, 1968, running for president. Yeah, he was running for president at the. He was here. He had just spoken at the Ambassador, the historic Ambassador Hotel. I don't know if you guys can see his image on that black granite. I don't know if you can make it out. Can you see it? It's kind of like a silhouette of faded. I don't know if you can make it out with the. Can you see it? Okay, cool. So yeah, that's him. Hey, thanks for the super heart, Gary. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody who's given super hearts. I can thank you. And so they've got a whole saying, quote from him on this wall here. And then of course 68 was it was crazy because it was JFK assassinated, then MLK assassinated, then RFK. It was a crazy time in U.S. history with a lot of assassinations of key people, important people. So this is known as the Robert F. K. Inspiration Park. It has quotes from Cesar Chavez, for example. Cesar Chavez right here, and George Bernard Shaw, and of course RFK himself. RFK was killed in Los Angeles, yes. This is now known as K-Town or Koreatown, but this used to be known as Mid-Wilshire, Mid-Wilshire, and but it's since has been known as Koreatown. This neighborhood has really undergone a lot of changes. It's very heavily Korea. It's Koreatown now. They've renamed this boulevard Robert F. Kennedy Parkway. This stretch is known as RFK Memorial Parkway, the street, but it's really Wilshire Boulevard. But this stretch is known as RFK Memorial Parkway. If you go back that way, you'll be in the heart of Koreatown. And Koreatown, it's all, if you've ever been to K-Town, it's all Korean restaurants, shops, everything is in Korean. It's really interesting. This building here, there was a big fight to preserve. There was a big fight to preserve the building, the Ambassador. In fact, Diane Keaton was one of the people who led the fight. Where's the spot where RFK was killed? So this building right here, Gary, this building is the building that replaced the Ambassador Hotel. The Ambassador Hotel was an old hotel going back to the 1920s. The Ambassador entertained a lot of celebrities, and I mean a lot of celebrities. This was the place to come to perform, to hang out, to see Sammy Davis Jr., you name it, Sinatra, you name it, lots and lots of artists, but also loads of movies were filmed here as well. Lots of movies were filmed in the Ambassador, and then of course the LA School District took over the property. There was a big fight. By the way, let's bring it back together with Donald Trump. There was a huge fight between the LA Unified School District and Donald Trump because Donald Trump wanted to develop this property to build the tallest building, like a 125-story building he wanted to build on this property. So there was a huge fight between what Donald Trump wanted to do, what the school district wanted to do, because they badly needed a school, and what the preservationists wanted to do, led by Diane Keaton, one of the people who was fighting. So you had these three forces fighting. One force saying we should preserve, one person said we should preserve the property, another one saying we should preserve part of it and integrate it, yes, integrate it into the school that they were going to build, and then of course another force that just completely wanted to demolish it, and they did. Little by little it was demolished, and this is what's left. It's the building is pretty much gone because they had left the coconut, there was like a club and so on next to it, and they preserved some of it. As you can see, the entrance, that's part of it right there. They preserved it. You see this part of it right here, that part was like the entrance of the Ambassador was preserved and integrated into the more modern Coconut Grove, yes, into the more modern structure behind it. So that's kind of what's left of the old Ambassador Hotel, right? So they kind of left the entrance to it, and then of course and restored it. It's been restored, of course, and this is what's left. This is U.S. history. It's a school now, yes. It's owned by the LA School District, And again, unfortunately, the only thing that's left here is this park that marks where RFK was killed. There's a park here. It's called the RFK, the Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park. And this is U.S. history here, obviously, where things changed. The course of U.S. history changed. He had just won, by the way, RFK had just won the California primary. So he had just won the California primary for the nomination for president, right? For the Democratic Party. And then Sirhan Sirhan, he was in the kitchen somewhere close to midnight or around midnight, in the kitchen pantry area. Sirhan Sirhan, a Palestinian national, comes in with a gun, shoots RFK, and shoots 5 other people. The RFK is taken to the hospital, lingers for about a day, he dies, the other people survive. So Sirhan Sirhan is the one who killed, was accused and charged and with RFK's killing. So real historic side. The school is closed right now, so I can't enter, but I wouldn't be able to enter anyway. It is private property now. Obviously, it's a school now. So, and then again, I can show you guys the park. Let's walk around a little bit, show you what the park is like. And again, this place was amazing. If you read up on the Ambassador Hotel, this was the place to come in LA from the 1920s onward into the 60s and 70s to kind of hang out for celebrities. Presidents stayed here, visiting dignitaries from around the world. World leaders stayed at this hotel. Let me show you what the hotel looked like. I'm going to walk up just a few steps up here because I want you to see a little bit of what the hotel, the Ambassador, actually looked like. Let me just show it to you. There's a marker right up here, that historic marker with a photo of it, and I'm going to show you. This is Wilshire Boulevard, but it's known as, it's been renamed Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Parkway. Just this particular stretch. Thanks everyone for joining me again, guys. If you want to share this with your friends, I'm going to be scoping a little bit longer and talking about this, but let's just show you the unfortunately there's a little damage here, but imagine what the place was like going back, way back when. Look at that, guys. It's known as the Paris of America. The Paris of America, one of the Wilshire Boulevard's most storied landmarks. The Ambassador Hotel opened its doors to praise on New Year's Day 1921. Guests from around the world came for 68 years to stay overnight on Wilshire, right here. The Ambassador made this section of the boulevard glamorous, steeped in legends and lore. The hotel's presence defined the boulevard, right? So check that out. This goes back, this was the Ambassador, man. This is from 1949. Candlelight Ball at the Coconut Grove, December 17, 1949. That's what was happening here. Look how packed. Glamour. 1949. Movie stars and presidents, as I mentioned before, came here. Movie stars and presidents. Fortunately, it's been graffitied and damaged a little bit, so it's hard to tell. The Ambassador Hotel, but it's kind of like right in here. Let me see. Oh, here's a better photo. So that's what it looked like, guys. The Ambassador. That was what it looked like. And again, this was the one of the glamorous centers here in Los Angeles. Tragedy strikes June 5th. It talks about what happened. Tragedy strikes. Sadly spelled the end of the ambassador. On June 5th, 1968, Senator Robert F. Kennedy of New York was gunned down in the hotel pantry minutes after winning the California primary election. That all but basically ended his obviously the Democratic Party's. Are you guys still there with me? So so again, loads of history here on this spot. By the way, it's now known as Koreatown. This is, as you see the sign there, Robert Kennedy Inspiration Park. Robert Kennedy. Just a little bit about Koreatown. Koreatown is it's the most densely populated neighborhood in Los Angeles, and it's one of the most densely populated neighborhoods anywhere in the U.S. So, for example, outside of New York, Midtown, outside of New York's Midtown, outside of I think the north end of Chicago, parts of San Francisco, this is the most densely populated neighborhood. This neighborhood has gone through a lot of changes, and it's still going through a lot of changes, because during the LA riots, for example, a lot of the buildings were burned here. When the riots happened, a lot of that happened in this area. Going further down there, the neighborhood changed a lot. It became a Korean neighborhood, and now it's undergoing yet another change, guys. The neighborhood is going through yet another change. Hipsters are moving in, gay and lesbian people are moving in, and so what's happening, they're building all these incredible high-rises. Some are down here, but some mostly back that way. They're building these high-rises for these hipsters, these folks, and the neighborhood is being gentrified yet again. So pushing a lot of people out. So the neighborhood is going through a lot of change, like downtown LA as well. So yes, the hotel, after the assassination in 1968, it was already a little bit on the decline, but actually after RFK was assassinated, that's what really kind of, Sammy Davis Jr. tried to keep it going by renovating the Coconut Grove part of it, and some others tried to keep it going, but like doing some renovations to it. There are people always trying to salvage it, but unfortunately it never fully came back. And again, in 1989, that's when the ambassador accepted its last guest. It shut down in 1989. It was closed. The only reason it reopened was for movies. So if you wanted to film a movie, a lot of movies were filmed at the site. After 1989, because they wanted to use an old hotel, movies were filmed here. So loads of movies were filmed. And then after that, in 2000, finally after the legal battles back and forth about what to do with the ambassador, it finally was demolished in late 2005, 2006. They demolished it. And today, this is what we have. We have a little park here. Park. We have remnants of the entrance. And then we have the building, the school. The property now belongs to the LA School District. And again, for the people who are just joining, I can show you, we have quotes from RFK here. And this is interesting because, you have quotes from RFK, and then over here you have his image on this black marble right there. That's RFK right there. And if you can see it, he's smiling. Yep. So yeah, guys, so and then you got this thing here. And it's kind of a park that nobody really uses except for, I guess, some homeless people come in here to sleep. So, and it's in Koreatown now. Koreatown is now part of it. This is Wilshire, famous Wilshire Boulevard here. There are the tour buses. Woohoo! Hop on, hop on. So that's it, my friends. I guess I don't know, the one downtown, let me see. I mean, there's a bunch of fancy hotels, but there's one downtown that's from that era. The Bel, what is it called? The Bel, I just drew a blank on the name. It's supposedly haunted. The Beverly Hilton. There are a lot of fancy hotels still. I heard to go there is a strange feeling. The Bel Air. The Bel Air. The Bel Air is downtown, and it's one of those end of an era type hotels, those big fancy hotels, still there. But that's what it looks like, guys, today. This is the site of the Ambassador, where Whitney Houston died. Yeah. Yeah. LA, it's been interesting living in LA because listening, not watching. It's interesting living in LA because there's a lot of history when it comes to to celebrities, right? If you do your research, you'll find out there's a lot of stuff that happened with celebrities, especially if you go down to the courthouse. The courthouse here, you go down to the courthouse, a lot of celebrity trials have been tried here. You found some great pictures, yeah? Your daughter will be here tomorrow. Well, it's beautiful weather, so she's coming down in time for beautiful weather. Again, this is where if you're just joining, this is where RFK. So this now makes two. I was in Dallas some years back, and I've seen where JFK was killed. Oh, it's okay. I was in Dallas, and I've seen where JFK was killed. Now I've seen where the site of where RFK was killed. The two brothers. The Kennedys. And I lived on Cape Cod for almost 3 years, so I used to go to where the Kennedys lived, in Hyannisport. So I lived in Hyannis for a while on Cape Cod, and I used to see Jackie O all the time when she was alive. I used to see Junior. I used to see the Kennedys would come out to Hyannis in the winter when all the tourists were gone. All the locals would see them just walking around. And then, of course, you could drive up to the Kennedy compound. You could walk up to the Kennedy not on the property, but you can walk and look at the houses where they live. So, and I went to, guess who wedding? I went to Arnold and Maria's wedding. I wasn't invited, I just went. What you doing in Hyannis? I was, that was my first newspaper job. I was working at the Cape Cod Times, my first newspaper job on Cape Cod. And I went to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's wedding. They got married in, just at JFK Library. They got married at, in Hyannis. I was a cub reporter. Yeah, they got married in Hyannis, so it was cool to see them. And Grace Jones, I don't know if you guys remember Grace Jones, she was invited to the wedding. And she just went nuts. I don't know, whatever happened to Grace Jones. You guys know who Grace Jones is? The singer. She was very eccentric. She was invited to the wedding and she just tore it up. Cape Cod Scopes. Cape Cod Scopes? I don't think you remember Cape Cod Scopes. I don't think Periscope was... Oh, my Cape Cod Scopes. Yeah, when I went back to Cape Cod. I see. So Grace Jones still around? Don't hear much about the Kennedy kids, yeah. Paul Katner's squeeze. Yeah, Grace Jones was big in the 80s. She was huge in the 80s. And then she was invited to the... Why was she invited to the Kennedy's wedding? I think she might have been in a movie with Arnold. I don't remember. Yep. So Grace Jones, we had photos of Grace Jones at the wedding. Not the wedding itself. The wedding was in the church, but after the ceremony. Not the ceremony. The oh my God, I can't. The party afterwards. And Grace Jones was going nuts. She was doing some wild dances. The wedding reception. The wedding reception. Thank you, Peggy. I was trying to remember the wedding reception. Yeah, the wedding reception. Grace Jones went nuts. You know. So yeah, but it's Grace Jones. Yeah, living on Cape Cod was really interesting. Living there, it's really interesting. Let me do a quick 360. I'm not talking about, you say great president, I'm talking about RFK, the brother, who was a senator, not JFK. Oh yeah, great slick. Yeah, I'm talking about this is the site of the ambassador where JFK was killed in Dallas, Texas. JFK was in the was in the convertible driving down Dallas, and he was shot and killed in the vehicle. His brother was shot years later on this spot. Yes, Robert. There's John, there's Robert. John was shot when he was president, and Robert was shot and killed when he was a senator from New York running for president. I gotcha. No, he had just spoken. He was done speaking. He had just accepted because he won the California primary, and he had just gotten done speaking, goes to the kitchen, to the pantry area. Sirhan shows up, shoots him in the kitchen. I went to Malibu yesterday. I was in Malibu yesterday. And then that was very tumultuous times, of course, because remember that MLK, Martin Luther King, as well was shot and killed, was assassinated. So you had those three big assassinations in the U.S. It was crazy times, crazy times. I wonder if you can see his image through this rose looking thing. Is that what this is all about? No, I don't think so. Hi there, Rhonda. No, you can't see it. I went to Malibu yesterday, and I was going to scope it, but in keeping with I met my friends. I ended up meeting friends there, and I have a kind of a rule that I try not to break. Whenever I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm with my friends. I don't pull out and start scoping. I'll go back to Malibu and scope it another day, but basically I ended up hanging out with friends, and I wanted to spend time with my friends and rather than pulling out the phone and being on the phone and all that, I didn't scope it. I ended up not scoping it. I figured I can go back and scope it. Malibu will always be there, right? I can go back and scope it some other time. So I didn't scope it, but it was fun. Just friends, exactly. And yes, Abraham Martin Ninja. Have you seen? Yes, that song. Can you tell me where he's gone? Yep. He freed a lot of people. So maybe I'll go up to Malibu again some other time, but I try not to scope with friends. Because even when you say I'm going to scope quickly, you end up scoping, you end up spending more time that you want to, and then you miss out. I learned my lesson when I lived in China. I was scoping too much with friends around. I'm just walking through the park. Is known as Robert F. Kennedy Inspiration Park. It's stuck in your head? Yes, by the way, with all the news that's been happening before, the United States getting the 2028 Olympics was basically overshadowed pretty much by all the crazy news happening. But yes, Los Angeles will be hosting the 2028 Summer Olympics. LA will be the site of the Summer Olympics in 2028. Yes, I try to respect my friends. So 2028, that's what happened today. The big news out of LA, the Olympics is returning to the United States. But I think the news from the mooch kind of overshadowed the mooch being let go, I guess. Look at these beautiful flowers. Look at the flowers, guys. Those are beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? We know we're in a warm weather place when you see these flowers. Reunion Gate. All right, my friends, I think I'm gonna scope down. I'm gonna go back to the building, show you the building. Then I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna head on back home and try to wrestle with some chairs I want to put together. Put together some chairs. You're welcome, Peggy. I still need to. I bought a screwdriver that I need to go put some chairs together. I'm having really bad luck ordering stuff online. I ordered some outdoor furniture for my balcony. I ordered some outdoor furniture for my balcony. It took a week. I'm waiting. And I was tracking it. Suddenly, it disappeared off the radar. No more tracking. I called them, and they said, we don't know what happened to it. It just fell off the planet, and UPS is investigating what happened. My construction. So UPS is trying to figure out. It got lost somewhere from the warehouse. So now they're sending me a new one, and it's going to take another week. That's from Wayfair, by the way, Wayfair. Well, they're sending another one. It will be winter before they find it. Yeah, it's weird because you can track it, and I know it left the warehouse, and then it went to Chicago, then it went to some, and then it just vanished off the planet. I think so, yeah. So UPS is investigating. That's what they tell me. UPS is investigating. But in the meantime, Wayfair is mailing me out a new one, and it's going to take another week or so. So we'll see what happens. Ordering online is convenient, but sometimes it's challenging. Same with the food. The homeless stole my food. Remember my groceries? Yeah, right. They're investigating. Amazon Fresh delivered my grocery to the lobby and in line of sight. Mike's settling in. Yes, in line of sight of the. Are you on the bridge? What bridge? No, I'm on the steps here. I'm just standing on the steps. And then I tried again, and instead of delivering to me the second time, assembling the furniture is a challenge. Yeah, the second time they delivered my groceries to my neighbors, to the neighbors down the hall. I was like, Amazon, this is the second time you've screwed me up like this. The first time you delivered it in the lobby where the homeless entered the building and had their way with it. The second time you delivered it when you're supposed to hand it to me, because that's what I asked for. You're supposed to ring the bell and hand it to me. Nope. They left it down the hall with the neighbors that I don't know, people I don't know. Send your groceries. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm so done, Amazon, with you guys. But then they gave me credit, all kinds of credit. Of course they did. But it's like, you can't get it right. Okay, guys, I'm going to scope it down now. Thanks for joining me. My name is Mike. Again, if you're not following me, make sure you follow me. And I scope about people, places, and things, traveling. So make sure you follow. So thanks again, guys. Heading home, saying bye-bye to all you guys. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye, Grenada Spice. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, Lee Gifts. From the site here of the former Ambassador Hotel. Peace.